Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Back to Self. So today we will talk about your inner critic, how it really is being developed, how it's really impacting your life. But most importantly, how can you overcome the inner critic so you will free yourself from that constant judgment, critical voice that is constantly telling you you're not enough. So first of all, let's look at what exactly the inner critic is, because it blends with your values, it blends with your concept of self, it blends with your beliefs about yourself. So really, the inner critic is your internal voice that constantly is judging you, comparing you, telling you what's right, what's wrong, shames you, and puts loads of self-doubt on you. And all of that leads then to anxiety. You will feel anxious every time you're doubting yourself, you're questioning yourself. Is this right? Am I right? When you compare yourself, because all of this, what it's really doing to you is putting you down, and it's constantly telling you that you haven't done enough. It's constantly telling you that you could do more, that you're way behind than everyone else, that what you're doing is not enough. And at the same time, it paralyzes you. It moves you to the freeze mode where you're not able to do anything because of the fear of failure, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. So it's one hand, you might think that the inner critic is helping you to find motivation, find this self-discipline, but really what it really does, it activates your nervous system into a very much unsafe place. And then your nervous system goes into the freeze mode and you're not able to move past this, because then all what you feel is constant and huge fear. So this inner critic voice, it's very harsh voice. It's a very strict, parental, authoritative voice. It's very perfectionistic voice. But most of it all, it's fear-based voice. And where it came from? It can have different roots, but of course it goes back to your childhood. Where you internalized your parents' voice, your parents' critical voice. If your caregivers were criticizing you, comparing you, and making you feel like you're not doing enough, then you have internalized that voice as your own. So the inner critic really, it has your parental attitude. When you feel like you have been compared a lot to other people, maybe by yourself, maybe by your parents, maybe by your peers, that also leads to the inner critic being more active. Now with the social media and how exposed we are to everything, that doesn't help either, because everyone on social media is so happy and has great life, but all of them are very successful. And when you're scrolling and you're looking at those all happy, successful, rich people, you might be thinking, what did I do wrong in life? Why am I so behind? So that doesn't help either. And lastly, how the inner critic could be developed is through social expectations, or even your own expectations of yourself that you feel like you haven't met. So for that reason, you will give out to yourself through the inner critic voice, criticizing yourself, not be kind and be constantly demanding. Because that's the other thing that the self-criticism does. It demands a lot out of us without thinking about our needs. If we would really look at the role of your inner critic, it has a protective role. I know. So how something so destructive, how something so demanding and damaging can act like a protection. You see, that inner voice that you have developed, and it's so loud, it protects you from feeling ashamed. It tries to protect you from feeling too visible. It's trying to protect you from failing, from feeling humiliated, from being rejected, being abandoned, left alone. So as much as it tries to protect you, it also locks you in your comfort zone, locks you in that freeze mode, because you're constantly doubting yourself. It's like it almost like it's narrowing your vision, how you see yourself. You only see yourself through self-criticism. You always see yourself through self-doubt, but you don't see the bigger picture of who you really are and what you're capable of doing. So as much as it tries to protect you, on the other hand, what it actually does, it's self-sabotaging you. So the internal critic is internalized experience. It also is the need to control, the need to protect yourself from harmful, hurtful experiences. Because your body remembers, because you remember how it felt when you felt ununderstood, when you felt alone, humiliated, shamed, rejected. You deep down remember how it feels to be hurt. So you have developed a system that is working to protect you from all of that pain and sorrow. But it doesn't understand that it's actually keeping you locked in this comfort zone cage. And it prevents you from actually spreading your wings and be really authentic, be really true to yourself, being true to your values. Instead, the inner critic is forcing you to get into this role of people pleasing. You're constantly trying to look at what other people need over your own needs. You're constantly trying to fit in. You're constantly trying to figure out what other people expect you to be, so you will not feel like you're left out. You will not feel rejected. You will not feel you won't be judged. But in reality, what is happening? You're judging yourself, you're rejecting and you're abandoning yourself. As much as you're looking for external validations and people pleasing just to feel safer, just to find out what is being expected from you, how to meet other people's needs, so somehow you can have a role, you can have a sense of belonging, you're taking away that from yourself. So you can't. This is why you might feel like you can never win, because you give so much and it's constant, but yet it's never being properly received. That never feels fulfilling. And it can't feel fulfilling if you're constantly abandoning yourself. Sometimes to the extent where you no longer know who you are, when you no longer know what your needs are, when you completely forgot what are your values, what are your belief system, what do you want for yourself, what are your dreams. So that inner critic, as much as it's trying to avoid the pain, it also causes lots of disconnection from yourself, which is very much harmful for your own well-being. The inner critic will get louder every time you will try to come out of your comfort zone, every time you will try to do something new, every time you will become maybe more visible. When you will want to change something. So every time you will come out of your comfort zone, the inner critic will be shouting in your head in panic. This is not safe. This is not good. You can't do this. This is too much. People won't like you. People will judge you. People will reject you. You will feel like you're a fool. And it's constant until you give up. Until you be like, you know what? Yeah, like, what was I even thinking? Wanting to change or wanting to something more. So as you can see, it tries to protect you, but really what it does, it's sabotaging your own growth. It's sabotaging you getting to know yourself. The inner critic could also lead you to be in this perfectionism illusion that you're trying to be perfect, not making mistakes, being likable, being what other people expect you to be. So that itself, look, where is your focus? Your focus is constant on the other side, on the other person. What do they want me to be? You're never really focusing on how you feel. What do you want? What will make you comfortable? What will work for you? Because let's be honest, the inner critic, we think of the inner critic as something that is big, massive, authoritative figure, bigger than us. But really, what it is and how all that inner critic is in us is as long as we first experienced humiliation, is as old as the first experience that we remember, unconsciously or consciously, when we felt rejected. So if you have been rejected at the age of 4, your inner critic is 4 years old. If you felt humiliated at age 6, then your inner critic is 6 years old. And it stayed. It's like a memory. It's like a voice that remembers the feeling that happened 20, 30 years ago. Now it's ruling your life, and now it dictates what you can and what you cannot do. How did that even happen? How your inner child is running the show? How someone as young is actually telling you what you can or cannot do in your adulthood? Like, that doesn't make sense. So here's my suggestions how you can overcome your inner critic. First of all, what if you would, rather than looking at the inner critic as someone authoritative, look at the inner critic as a small child screaming, I don't know the future. This is too scary. And then the adult you steps in and say, okay, what is this about? Why am I reacting like this? What's going on for me? What do I believe is going to happen? Oh, they won't like you. Okay, I'm an adult. If they won't like me, so what? Is that going to impact my life now? Is that going to take something away from me? Am I losing out on something? How will that change my life in general? Not so much. There you go. So what you do, rather than internalize the inner critic, what you do is externalize it. Think of the inner critic as something outside of yourself, like a child, a teddy bear, I don't know, like it would be great if you could even paint or picture the inner critic outside of you and then try to have a conversation. What do you want? Why are you acting like this? What is happening? What is that you're really afraid of? Okay, right, I see you. I hear you. Let me take care of this. I'm an adult. I can do it. So you can see you're not really falling into this fear-based beliefs that something bad is about to happen every time you're going to come out of your comfort zone. Instead, you're giving yourself a little bit of compassion. Instead, you're giving yourself a little bit of understanding. Tell me what's going on there. Tell me what is happening. Be and stay curious about yourself. When you do that, you will never feel like you're doing things on your own. When you do that, you will have a sense of connection. You will have sense of autonomy. You will be able to decide and trust your beliefs, knowing that you're making those decisions out of your adult mode rather than a 6-year-old child mode. Don't be afraid to challenge your inner critic. Don't be afraid to ask yourself, why am I thinking like this? Where is the evidence for me to actually believe that they will reject me if I do such a thing? And if they do reject me, maybe they were not my people in the first place. So challenge that inner critic. Allow yourself to see a different perspective, but you won't be able to see a different perspective unless you challenge it, unless you challenge the first belief, unless you will stay curious and show some compassion. Stop judging yourself constantly, telling that you can't do things because they're too much. If this is a belief, you can't change that belief. But you can only truly change a belief if you tap into the emotional side of it. What does my body remembers that maybe I have denied or rejected myself? What truth does my body holds that I no longer paid attention to? So rather than feeding that disconnection, you're actually coming back to yourself, reconnecting with yourself. There's a lot for you to think about, but embrace and be friendly with your inner critic. It will do magic when it comes to your potential, when it comes to your well-being, and really starting to like yourself, starting to like and try to like yourself a little bit more. Just give yourself that permission to like yourself and to believe yourself a little bit more, because that will then lead to more authentic, more real, more congruent, and more lovable life. That's what I wish for you. So look, if this resonates with you, leave your comment below. Also, if the anxiety part of this really makes sense, I would encourage you to visit my site. I would invite you to take control of your anxiety course, which is online course. You can do it in your own pace. It's 3 days maximum. You can do it in 3 hours. You can do it in 3 days, whatever works for you. And you have the full access, like you have lifetime access to it. And it's only €49. So if this is something that you would like to embrace more, you would like to understand more and understand your anxiety, take control of that anxiety, then that course is definitely for you. Thank you very much for listening today, and I will see you very soon. Bye.